So I just thought that might be really good. So again, we're going to go over the rule changes, and then we'll get a kind of a discussion about the one that's so controversial. And I actually think there are two, but I think one is so much worse for us that that the other one gets kind of, you can't complain about everything. So let's start with the ones that aren't a problem. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen. These are the rule changes. So the first change is on the citation policy. Okay, so rule 7.9, and we're going to go over that one in a little bit because it's important, and that's the clear cooperation policy, and it really only has one date in it, but they have at this time, if you haven't been following the clear cooperation policy, they've been giving a warning prior to a citation. That is no longer going to be the case. If they catch you not putting your listing in the right place in the MLS, then under the clear cooperation policy, then you're going to start getting a fine right away. Okay, a new violation for rule 10.1 will be added to the citation policy, specifically failure to obtain a coming soon form. Oh, that's what I forgot to ask. Shoot. Prior to entering a listing in coming soon status will now be enforced with a fine of $750. That's a lot. It is not eligible to receive a prior warning. So it was my impression that CAR amended the listing agreement to approve the use of coming soon. And so I thought we didn't need them anymore. But when I see this rule, I think maybe we do, because maybe we need the dates on them, the exact date. There's no dates on the listing agreement that, yes, put it in coming soon from this date to this date. And there is on the form. So please keep in mind that you need to get the coming soon form, and it is not a CAR form. It is a MLS form, so you have to get it off the MLS website. Or just text me or email me and I'll send you it. I'll send it to you. Okay, so they are also revising some other of the violations. Okay, so some get a warning and some don't. So media content restriction, and we're going to get to that because that's a new thing in here. Use of media without prior authorization. So use some pictures, you can't prove that you had the right to use them, or someone else claims they were theirs and you can't prove it. Then it's a $1,500 fine, no warning. Truthful representation in media. So you advertise something that turns out not to be true, $100, no warning. Subsequent use of media, and I think we're going to get to whatever that means. We're going to get to, that's the part that's all controversial. No warning, $1,500. And branding in media, if you put branding in your media, you're going to get a $100 fine, meaning if there is anything in any of the pictures that says who you are or who no branding period or who anything is, you can't do that. And that's an automatic $100 fine. Okay. Addition of, okay. Media on the MLS. So media on the MLS is considered anything you put on, defined as a depiction or expression of works, including but not limited to photographs, images, drawings, renderings, virtual tours, etc. And that was already the rule. The part in red is new. So submitted listing is any content placed in a listing or content that is accessible by external links placed in a listing. Okay, so now if you put a link in your listing and it goes to something else that you're not allowed to do, that's all part of the same thing. They're defining it much more broad. Okay, so media subject to the MLS is subject to the following. Content of media submitted to the MLS shall be limited to visual representations of property, anything included in the sale of the property, and any or amenities or features related to the property. Inclusion of text or written communication content that may be determined to create a safety hazard or concern, or content that is otherwise deemed to be inappropriate by the staff is prohibited. Okay, so that would, obviously text or written, anything you write in there that might lead someone to believe the property is empty, or, anything that could be a safety issue, those kinds of things all need to be crazy. Okay, you can't put that stuff in the MLS. I think we've known that before. I don't think anyone would do that on purpose, but you know, you never know. Okay, prior authorization. By submitting media to the MLS, the subscriber represents and warrants that their own sufficient rights to reproduce and display the media, that you have the right to do it, right? Rights that have been obtained by the participant subscriber from another party shall be fully set forth in writing and must be in place prior to the submission of the subject media to the MLS. So if somebody questions whether or not you have the right to use the pictures, and you give the MLS an agreement that was dated yesterday because, you know, we didn't get it 2 weeks ago, we only got it yesterday, and somehow it gets a date on it, you're going to be in trouble. Okay, truthful representations, I think
Cindy.
that, yeah.
So, you know, I put in pictures of the neighborhood park and the beach.
Yeah, it doesn't, oh, I thought I read that in here, and I think, yeah, oh yeah, it's coming down here. Photos depicting views that are not of the property or from the property, or that are depicting HOA amenities must be captioned as such. So apparently you can do it as long as you put a caption on that, you know, this is 3 blocks away, or you know, within a mile, or whatever you put. But you can't make it sound like that you can see it from the property or that it's part of the property unless it is.
Okay, so, okay, we can probably use it then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I actually thought the rule was you couldn't even depict HOA amenities, but I guess you can. Okay. So basically it's right. It must be a truthful representation of the property in all respects, including but not limited to the interior and views of the property and anything included in the sale of the property. So, right. So don't put a view picture on there that you can only see standing upside down from one spot on the property, because that's not going to be a true depiction of what you can see from the property. Unless you're going to put the picture on there and put, you know, view from 2nd story window or something, you know, where it's not really a view unless you're in one spot. So you have to be truthful. I think everyone knows that. I think everyone is, but you know, you often see photos that when you go to the house, I'm sure that you go, wow, I can't even believe those photos are of this house. So try to avoid that. Okay, subsequent, this is what they were talking about, subsequent use of media. Okay, use of media that is included in the MLS compilation by any subscriber, participant subscriber, requires prior written authorization from the subscriber who previously submitted the media and any party with the legal right to grant such authorization. So the agent, the broker, whatever. Notwithstanding the foregoing, subsequent use of media which results in double watermarks appearing in the media is prohibited. And I'm not sure how that works, but if it looks like it's been reproduced, you know, I don't know. Or you guys probably know that, or your picture people know that. Okay, so legal right to grant, right. So you have to have permission to use it. Branding of any media submitted to the MLS is prohibited, which we knew. Branding is defined as the inclusion of any content in media that can be used to identify any person or entity, including but not limited to the listing broker or agent or franchise or company, contact information, or any material associated with the broker or agent. Media content that may be considered branding includes but not limited to signs, contact information, identifiable persons, logos, slogans, catchphrases, references, team names, or anything else. So you can't use any of those things. And when we go back up to the fines, so that would be the fine if you violated that, it would be $100. The subsequent use of media, which is that you have to have the permission to use it, $1,500 fine. Okay. Or that was, maybe that's use of media without prior authorization. I'm not sure, but either both are $1,500. Other parties given in writing. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so just keep those things in mind. That's the media stuff. That's kind of complicated. And if we need to, we'll do it again in 2 weeks once it comes into effect. And if people just aren't getting it right. Okay, neighborhood market reports. We've been doing those. We've been allowed to do those for a long time. They used to say it's a little confusing to me because it says may include only those portions. So I'm assuming you don't have to include anything in this list. That is just what you may include. So they've added broker, buyer's agent compensation. And they added it because it's no longer protected or private or protected by the right to privacy. Based on that federal the big lawsuit that changed a lot of rules. Sorry. So buyer's agent compensation can now be listed if you want, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, but it's added to all of these things, which is what you're allowed to put, and the only things you're allowed to put in a neighborhood market report. Okay, the IDX is the very controversial part. So let's just skip that for right now. We're going to come back to that. Okay, this is all IDX. Okay, and then the last one, the use of term business days. So in the MLS, everything is business days, which means that weekends never have counted or holidays. Okay, they're changing that, except for Rule 7.9. They're making it 2 days of the effective date of the listed. Will not need to be deleted. They're changing business days. Oh, they're taking out the words business days, right? Sorry. And now the rule will now be calendar days. Okay. So when it says that you have to put your listing in the MLS in 2 calendar in 2 days, it's starting September 1st. It will not mean if you take it on Friday, you have till Tuesday. It will mean if you take it on Friday, you have till Sunday to put it in the MLS. 2 days, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if it's a holiday. Even there's no exception here in this rule for holidays or weekends or anything else. I don't think there's construction listings, multi-property units. I didn't think there was anything down here that was, yeah, that was all that much that we need to go over. Okay, but I want to go over because it does say except Rule 7.9, and then it gives you these other 2 rules, 7.8 and 7.11, that don't have any changes to them, to remind you that they are not in 7.9. So the one that says that you have to put it in within 2 days of the effective date of the listing agreement, that is now 2 days, not 2 business days, 2 calendar days. Okay, and the one that says if you make a change, you sell it, it goes out of escrow, anything that changes 2 days, you have to make that change again. And those are two calendar days. Okay, I want to look at real quick. Let's look at 7.9 because that doesn't count in the rule. So 7.9 is the clear cooperation policy. And the only real dates in here is within 1 business day of marketing or advertising a property to the public for sale, 1 to 4 units or vacant. You have to put it into the MLS. The listing broker must submit to the MLS for cooperation with other participants. So I don't know if you guys saw the short version of this, but the short version of this said the listing broker must submit the property into the MLS. So my thought was, well, gosh, when we put it in registered like a month ago, wasn't that submitting the property to the MLS? But now it adds, if you actually look at the rule, it says for cooperation with other CRMLS participants, which means that you're going to be advertising it, which means coming soon or active. So this rule is still going to be business days. So if you show the property on a Saturday, you don't have to get it in the MLS till Monday. Okay, and I guess it means if you show the property on a Friday, you also don't have to get it into the MLS till Monday because it's only going to be business days. But that is really the only date in 7.9. So that's really the only thing that we had to, when you go back to the rule, when it says except 7.9, that's the one thing it means, is that the 1 day rule is business days. Okay, let's go to this one, IDX. And I don't know how many of you use IDX, but I think a lot of people here use the IDX websites and information through IDX. So basically, what the new rule says that everyone's so up in arms about is listing credit. All listing brokers grant permission for any advertising broker, and clearly the advertising broker is the one who is wanting to advertise it, to display any listing submitted to the service by the listing broker only if the listing displayed or advertised is clear so that reasonable real estate consumer understands, number one, who the listing agent and broker is. So now you're representing the buyer. You want to send them a list of properties through your IDX. You got to tell them who the listing agent and broker is, who the advertising broker is, which would be you, and how to contact the listing agent or broker. So you have to give your buyer the listing agent and broker's contact information according to this rule. People are up in arms about it. As you can imagine, I think a lot of top agents use IDX, and nobody wants to give their buyer the listing agent name and phone number. It's crazy to do that, but that's the new rule. Okay, so I don't know. And then I just thought for fun we could look at. Hold on, don't look at that. We can look at this. This was something that an agent sent me that this guy wrote. Okay, so he was talking about this rule. On August 19th, the CRMLS sent something out to everybody, letting us know of the rule changes, and that the rule changes start September 1st. Starting September 1st, whenever a realtor member sends out listing information to their buyer or seller clients via their website, direct email, anything, those listings will contain the contact information of the listing agent. Obviously, that's what they're mad about. The new rule undermines it just undermines the relationship policy. We don't need to be giving out the other agent's number. Okay. The new rule must be, so they're mad and they want people to do these things, to read it and then to write in to Ed Zorn or Art Carter, who's the CEO, and tell them that we hate this rule. So if anyone needs me to forward you this information, you let me know and I will, and you can write in. The CRMLS responded to this. They responded to, I know it's really little. And basically put in bold, the rule change in question only affects IDX websites, not any other form of marketing. So again, this is only for people using IDX, but I think that's a lot of people. So now, I don't know if we have any discussion on this or if anybody's as up in arms as this guy who wrote the letters, but they believe that if you're going to give out information of stop sharing. If you're going to give out information that belongs, from the MLS, you have to tell them who the agent is and the broker and how to reach them. It's part of what you have to send out. So please keep in mind, we saw there was going to be a little bit of a grace period on this, but after the grace period is over, there's going to be a penalty. So please make sure that if you are using IDX and you're sending out properties through that system, that you are updating to add the name and the contact information for the broker and agent. So those are the MLS changes. I think they're fairly major. Certainly the day change is major because it's going to take people a while to keep in mind that you don't have that extra 2 days on the weekend. Or even a holiday. So anyway, if anyone gets stuck, let us know and we'll, I'm going to be out of town, for 2 days and I thought I would be able to do it and I can't, let us know. We'll find some help for you or we'll help you ourselves. So anyway, those are the rule changes. Does anyone have any questions? They kind of are what they are and we'll see how they get enforced. But anyway, I think people are going to forget it for a while. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of people who aren't going to know about the rule changes. And so they're not going to be on top of it. So anyway, that's my story. I guess I'm a little bit early today. Everyone knows I teach at 3:30. So anyway, and any other questions? Any questions about anything else? Well, that is really all I have. I don't know about anything else new and exciting to share with you. There really nothing. Everything's kind of just pushing ahead right now on the same notes, waiting for the end of September. Okay, well, that's all I got. So if you guys have any questions, I'm here all the time, or not all the time, but most of the time. So give me a buzz, let me know. Thanks.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy.
Cindy, could you send the email about what you're seeing, the paper?
Was I mute the whole time I said that? I will send this out as a legal update because I'm supposed to, I have been lax about getting something actually out in the mail or in the email. So I'll send it today. Thanks.
Thank you, Cindy.